Welcome, lovers of the sinister. Today I invite you on a journey into the bowels of the everyday, where even the most ordinary places can become the setting for our worst fears. Prepare your minds and hearts for 5 true horror stories that happened at Walmart. Yes, that place where we've all been, but never like in these tales. And with the gentle murmur of rain in the background, let me immerse you in the horror. Story 1. The Toy Aisle. Our first story takes us to a rainy night at a Walmart in Nebraska. Emily, an employee, was making her closing rounds when she came to the toy aisle. As she was rearranging the shelves, she heard a childish giggle. At first, she thought it was her imagination, but the laughter grew louder and came from a doll in the corner of the aisle. As she approached, she saw that the doll was moving on its own, its glass eyes staring at her. Emily tried to turn it off, but the doll started screaming in a heartbreaking voice, "Don't take me back!" In desperation, Emily put the doll down and ran to the manager. When they returned together, the doll was limp, but security cameras clearly showed it moving and talking to itself. Since that night, Emily never returned to work the night shift, and the doll was removed from the store, although some say they can still hear her laughter on stormy nights. Story 2. The Ghost Customer. At a Texas Walmart, a night watchman named Robert encountered something he would never forget. It was his first night alone on shift, and as he was walking through the store, he noticed an older man who seemed lost. Robert approached to offer assistance, but the man disappeared before his eyes. Confused, he checked the security cameras and saw the elderly man wandering the aisles, but every time he tried to reach him, the man vanished. Investigating further, Robert discovered that the man had been a regular customer who died in an accident in the Walmart parking lot 10 years ago. Since then, his spirit wandered the store, searching for something he would never find. Robert quit the next day, unable to bear the thought of sharing his shift with a ghost. The legend of the phantom customer became a familiar story among employees, who still claim to see him from time to time. Story 3. The Silhouette in the Parking Lot. At a Walmart in Ohio one stormy night, a woman named Sarah was loading her groceries into her car when she saw a dark silhouette at the end of the parking lot. The figure stood motionless in the rain, watching her. Restless, Sarah quickly finished and got into her car, but when she tried to start, the car did not respond. The figure was slowly approaching. Desperate, Sarah called out for her husband, but the signal was weak. The figure was almost at her side when it suddenly disappeared. Finally, the car started and Sarah went home trembling. Days later, she heard rumors about a man who had been murdered in that same parking lot years before. Since then, his spirit would appear on stormy nights, haunting the unsuspecting. Sarah never returned to that Walmart, and every time it rains, she remembers the silhouette that almost got her. Story 4. The Missing Employee. At a Walmart in Florida, a young employee named Jason disappeared without a trace during his night shift. Security cameras showed Jason entering the store, but never leaving. Police investigated and found his belongings on the premises, but no trace of Jason. Employees began to hear strange noises coming from the warehouse, whispering, footsteps, and sometimes the sound of someone crying. A month later, another employee claimed to have seen Jason in the warehouse, but when he tried to approach, Jason vanished into thin air. The workers believed Jason had fallen victim to something darker, caught between this world and the next. The Walmart decided to close the store for a time, but the paranormal phenomena continued, and Jason's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. Story 5. The Cursed Cash Register. Our final story takes place at a Walmart in California. One night, a cashier named Linda received an antique cash register for her station. From the very first moment, she felt a negative energy emanating from the machine. Every time she used it, the cash register would make strange noises and the prices would change without explanation. Customers complained of feeling cold and a shadowy presence around them. Linda began having nightmares about the box, dreaming of spectral hands coming out of it. Investigating, she discovered that the cash register had belonged to an old market where a fire killed several employees, and their spirits were said to have been trapped in the register. Linda tried to warn her superiors, but no one believed her. One night, Linda was found passed out next to the box, with burn marks on her hands. The cash register was removed and destroyed, but some employees claim that, on stormy nights, they can still hear the cash register jingling and see shadows moving around it. These were the 5 true horror stories that happened at Walmart. Ordinary places can hide unimaginable horrors, and you never know when you might come across the unexplainable. Thank you for joining us on this terrifying journey. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more scary stories. Until next time, and remember, the everyday can become sinister in the blink of an eye.